Hello, this recording will be for Module 2, Formatting Workbook Text and Data. I will be completing the review assignment found on EX 123 and finishing up on EX 124. On EX 123, it reads under the assignment, data files that are needed for this assignment are menu.xlsx and background2.jpg. I have got those files ready. They're on my desktop, ready to use. I would like for you to do the same. So if you need to pause this video, you may do so. Go out to the student files that are found in Blackboard under our course and go to week 2, and you will be able to find those two files. I believe they're down toward the bottom. Once you've done that, you can resume this video. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. The paragraph under the line that tells us what two files to have ready, it says Carol created a workbook that tracks the sales of individual items from the Morning Bean menu to share it at an upcoming conference. She has already entered most of the financial formulas, but wants you to calculate some additional values. She also asks you to format the workbook so that it will look professional. That's the key. It will look professional and be easy to read and understand. Complete the following. Now, I've got to admit this is a fairly lengthy review assignment, and I will make sure that I take it slow and steady to get everything completed. And some of the things might require me to actually search around a little bit for it. Because each and every theme has a different scheme of color schemes, and they're having me use what's called a theme, which I will show you. So be patient as we walk through this. Okay, step 1, open the menu workbook. So I've got that saved to my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and double click on my menu workbook and open it up. There we go. And it says, and then save the workbook as menu sales in the location specified by your instructor. And again, that location specified by your instructor is wherever you can save it that you know where to find it later. So it could be your desktop, My Documents, thumb drive, whatever you would like to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do a file save as in order to rename this. And I'm going to click Browse, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. So I'll go up there and make sure I have desktop selected. And then it says to name it Menu Sales. So I'm going to come down here where the file name is, and I'm going to get rid of that parentheses, 1 parentheses, and type the word Sales, Menu Sales. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Okay, so that is step 1. Step 2, in the documentation sheet, enter your name in cell B4 and the date in cell B5. So I would come to B4 and I would type, for me, Steve Whiteman. And the date today happens to be June 2nd, 2019. Okay, so I've completed step 2. Step 3. Change the theme of the workbook to retrospect. We can go to the page layout ribbon. Over to the far left are themes. You want to drop that arrow down and find retrospect. Now, different versions of Excel have different themes. And I've already had one student who has worked ahead mention that they do not see the theme for case number 2 for this chapter. That is because more than likely she does not have Excel 2016 and Office 365. I've asked her to confirm what version she's using, but honestly it's not that big of a deal. If you have to choose a different theme, maybe in the comment box when you submit it for grading that you mention this to me, so that I'm not looking for the retrospect theme, let's say, that you can't find it and you're going to use a different one. So just let me know that. All right, So change the theme of the workbook to retrospect, which I did, so we're done with step 3. Step 4, make the following formatting changes to the documentation sheet. Set the background image to background to JPEG file located, again, in the student files on Blackboard, which I saved to my desktop. So on the page layout ribbon, I've got a button here for background. I'm going to click on background. It says from file and browse to where I have that saved on my desktop. So I'm going to go to browse. I saved it on my desktop, and it's called background2.jpg. So I'm going to click on that file, click insert, and it inserts that background to my workbook, or worksheet in this case. Okay? Step 4B. Format the text in cell A1. So I'm going to click on A1 to 26 point. So I'm going to go back to my home ribbon. And my font right here, font size, I'm going to change it to 26. Bold. So I'll click the B for bold. Calibri light. So right now it says Calibri up here in the font. They want Calibri light. So there it is up at the very, very top. So I'm going to select that. And there we go. Okay, that's step 4B. 4C. In cell A1, change the font color of the word morning to the orange accent 1 theme color. So I have to come up here into what's called my formula bar, and I'm going to highlight just the word morning, so that what I'm going to choose will only affect that one word. So I highlight morning, and they want me to change the font color. So this is the capital letter A. We have font color, and then the bucket that looks like it's being spilled over is your fill color. They want font color, so I'm going to drop this down, and they want to change it to orange accent 1. So if I put my pointer on one of the buttons here, it will tell me, and sure enough, I picked orange accent 1. So I click. Then it says change the font color of the word bean. So now I'm going to highlight the word bean like that. And then it says to change that one to a font color of brown. So let me find the browns. There's the browns right there. That says brown accent 3, and that's the one they want. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'll click outside the cell to deselect it, and you can see that both words are now formatted differently, and that's exactly what they wanted for step 4C. 4D, format the text in cell A2. So now I'm going to click on A2 to make sure it understands that all the formatting I'm going to do is for that particular cell. Format the text in cell A2 in 18 point. So that means font size. So I'm going to change that to 18. Italic. So I click the I here for italic. And change the font color to the brown accent 3 theme color. So this is again font color. And again, it is the brown accent 3. And there we go. Step 4E. Format the range A4 to A6. So I'm going to select all 3 cells by clicking on A4 with my white plus sign. I'll hold down the left side of my mouse and drag down to select all 3 cells. Format the text, format the range A4 to A6 with the accent 3 cell style. On the home ribbon, we have cell styles. And I've got a drop-down arrow, and I'm going to click on that, and it shows me a variety of potential cell styles. And the one they're asking me to use is the accent 3, right there, accent 3 cell style. So I'm going to click on it, and I've accomplished what they wanted me to do for 4E. For F, change the font color of the range B4 to B6, okay, the font color to the brown accent 3 theme color that we've used a couple of times already. Okay. And change the fill color to the white background 1 theme color. So now we're going to go to the fill color, and they want white background. So if I put my point there, white background 1 theme color. So it's the top left. Click on that. And I think we're just about done, but we do have one more step. In cell B5, so I click on cell B5, format the date in the long date format. So if I click on this down arrow under the number, and right now it says custom in this big white box, if I drop the arrow down, it gives me other choices, and this one's telling me to choose the long date. So I click on long date, and then it says to left align the cell contents. And so right up here under the alignment group, we have left align left. If I click on that, it aligns it to the left of that cell. Okay, I believe we're done with step number 4. So a lot of formatting features that they've demonstrated. They've demonstrated fill color, font size, font, bold, italic, and we have also dealt with some cell styles, and then we've also dealt with changing some of the number format for date here. So very good. All right, step 5. Use the format painter to copy the formatting in the range A1 to A2 in the documentation sheet and paste it to the same range in the menu item worksheet. Okay, so let me do that first. So what they're telling me to do is highlight A1 and A2. Okay. Up here we have a paintbrush that says Format Painter. What this does is it copies just the formatting for those two cells, not the text that's in there, but the formatting. So if you like the way you formatted something and you want to copy it to another cell, this is what you would use. It only copies the formatting. So I click that paintbrush. Let me read the instructions again. Use the Format Painter to copy the formatting in the range A1 to A2 in the documentation sheet and paste it to the same range in the menu items. So I go over to menu items and I click these two cells by highlighting both of them, and voila, they get formatted the way I like it. Okay? Now, it says, in the next sentence in step 5, change the font colors in cell A1 of the menu items worksheet to match the colors used in A1 of the documentation sheet. So if I go back up and read the instructions from step 4C, they want me to highlight the word, so I click on A1, I highlight morning, just like I did in step 4C. They want me to change it to orange accent 1. So we're working with font color here. So I want the orange accent 1 for that word. Then they want me to highlight the word bean. And for this one, they want me to do brown accent 3. Click outside the cell, and we've just completed the entire step number 5. Step 6, apply the title cell style to cells B4, B12, and A20. So you can do one of two things. You can do all 3 cells individually, which I think I'm going to do it that way. Or you could select all 3 cells by holding down, select one of them, hold down your control key, select the second one, continue to hold down your control key and select the third one, so that when you do the title cell style, it will actually affect all 3 at the same time. So if I had more than 3, I would probably do it that way. But with only 3, I'm going to do each one separately. So I go to B4. Over here under Cell Styles, which is where we were earlier when we did Accent 3, right up here we have Title Cell Style right there. Title Cell Style. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to do the same thing for B12. So I click on B12, Cell Style, Title, and then finally for A20. So I'll scroll down a little bit. find A20, and do the same cell style title. Okay, that's step 6. Step 7, pretty long step because there's A through G. Step 7, make the following changes to the units sold table. So that's down here. I'm going to scroll down so I see most of the table here. Okay, there's a whole lot here. All right, so we're going to be using this down here. Make the following changes to the units sold table in the range B5 to F10. Oh, B5 to F10. So I'm glad I read the instructions here. So B5, keep going. Here it is. Okay, sorry. B5 to F10. Okay, so here we go. 7A. Apply the accent 3 cell style to the headings in the range B5 to F5. So let me do that first. So B5, I'm going to highlight B5 to F5. Apply the accent 3 cell style to the headings in the range B5 to F5. So I'm going to come back over here, cell styles, and they want me to do the accent 3. So I click on accent 3, and it does it for all of those cells. Center the headings in the range C5 to F5. C5, so not B. So I'm going to highlight C5 to F5, and I'm going to use my center button in my alignment. Okay? They still want the one in B5 to be left aligned, so don't include that for that particular instruction. All right, that's 7A. 7B. In cell C6, use the sum function to calculate the total number of specialty drinks sold by the company found in the range C22 to N31 in the units sold per month table. In cell C7, so let's stop there. Let's read that again. In cell C6, use the sum function to calculate the total number of specialty drinks sold by the company, which is found in the range C22 to N31. Okay, so we can do this. Equals, we always do equals to tell Excel that we're doing some sort of function. Sum is the one they're asking me to use. Then you open up a parenthesis, and inside the parentheses is where you tell it the range that you want to do. So I can either go down to that range, C22, oops, I went too far down, C22, and I could highlight C22 down to N31. I could do this and just highlight everything. Or if you feel more comfortable, let me try that again. My clicking on my PC just didn't work there. C22 down to N right there, N31. Or you could type that in there. Okay? Close your parenthesis, hit enter, and you should, if you're following along, you should get the result of 653,800. Okay, so that was step number 6, or part of it. It continues then, and it says in cell C7, use the sum function to calculate the total number of smoothies sold in the range C32 to N36. So this time equals sum, same process, open parenthesis, but this time I'm going to type in the range just to show you the other way of doing it. So I could type in C32 colon N36, just like it shows in the instructions. Close my parenthesis and hit enter. And for that one, I'm getting 436,000. Now B continues. In cell C8, use the sum function to calculate the total number of sandwiches sold in the range C37 to N41. Equals sum, open parenthesis. I'm going to type in again what they tell me is the range, C37 colon N41. Not comma, but colon. That's important to distinguish that. 217,900. And then finally, in C9, calculate the total number of soups. So I do equals, sum again, open parentheses, same format, and then we're going to type in C42 colon N45. Okay, and we get 145,400. So that's step 7B. That took a long time to complete that one. Step 7C. In cell C10, which is where I'm at right now, use the sum function to calculate the total units sold from all the menu types in 2017 based on the range C6 to C9. Copy the formula in cell cell D10 to calculate the total units sold in 2016. Well, the easiest way to do this one is in C10, I'm going to use my auto sum key, that big letter E up there. I'm going to simply click on it. Excel will notice that I want to add a certain amount of cells, but be very careful here because it's also including my heading, which is in row 5, and that's not what I want. I want C6 to C9. So I'm going to fix that by highlighting those cells. And you can see inside the parentheses now, it is corrected, C6 to C9. Do not include the label in C5. Do not include that. Okay? So I hit enter, and then it tells me to copy that over here. So if I click on C10, I've got this thing in the bottom right-hand corner known as a fill handle. You put your pointer right on it, and that white plus sign becomes a black plus sign. If I click and hold down the left side of the mouse, I can drag that over, and I get the same answer there. It automatically changes it from C6 to C9 to D6 to D9. That's pretty neat. That is called relative reference. Relative reference. All right, that's 7C. 7D. In each cell of the range E6 to E10, E6 to E10, calculate the change in units sold between the 2017 and 2016 values. In each cell of the range F6 to F10, calculate the percentage change from 2016 to 2017. Hint, the percentage change is the net change divided by the 2016 value. Okay, so first it tells me in each cell of the range E6 to E10, calculate the change in units sold between the 2017 and the 2016. So I'm going to go equals 2017, which is C6, minus 2016, which is D6, and hit enter. And that tells me 105,800. Then I can click there and actually use my fill handle to drag down and do that for the other cells, all the way down to E9. Again, that fill handle is that little box in the bottom right-hand corner. All right, so let me continue to read here. In each of the cells of range E6 to E10, I better go down one more. I'm sure some of you were yelling very loudly at me here. All right, there we go. I added it down. Okay, so I got the proper range here. In each of the range F6 to F10, what it's telling me to do, they give me a hint. The percentage change is the net change divided by the 2016 value. So I'm going to take equals E6 divided by the 2016 value, which is D6, and hit enter. Okay, and I can tell there that you move the decimal place to the right twice if you're looking at this, and it should be 19.3%. All right, so I'm going to copy that down as well using the fill handle. Right there in the bottom right-hand corner, click and drag down, and there we go. Okay? So that takes care of 7D. 7E. Format the range C6 to E10 with the comma style and no decimal places. C6 to E10. I'm going to highlight C6 down to E10, and they want me to use the comma style right here. Now, when you click that, by default, it gives you 2 decimal places. By default, it gives you 2 decimal places. They don't want any. So this button right here allows me to increase the number of decimal places, and we certainly don't want to do that. This one allows me to decrease. So with the same range highlighted, I click the decrease twice, and that removes my decimal places. And that's what the instructions call for. It says format the range C6 to E10 with the comma style and no decimal places. 7F, format the range F6 to F10. So I'm going to highlight F6 to F10 with the percent style and 2 decimal places. So when I click the percent style, the default is 0 decimal places. They want 2, so now I'm going to click twice on the increase decimal. And there we go. I'm on step 7G, almost skipped a step. Add a top border to the range B10 to F10. So I'm going to select B10 to F10. And up here on my ribbon, we're using just about every one of these buttons in this exercise, but we have borders right here. If I drop that arrow down, they want me to use a top border. So right there's top border. I click, and I have a top border. So that is all of step 7. Step 8, make the following changes to the gross sales table in the range B13 to F18. So there it is right there. Okay, gross sales. In cells C18, so I'm going to go to C18 right there. Use the sum function to calculate the totals of the 2017 and then also in D for the 2016 sales. So again, I'm going to use the auto sum. I'm going to click on the auto sum. Again, I have to be very careful not to include the label 2017. So I'm going to highlight that range right there, C14 to C17. I'm going to hit enter. This is kind of similar to what we did above. I'm going to select that cell, use the fill handle, and copy it. Whoa, do an undo here. Okay, I'm going to use the fill handle and copy over. There we go. All right, that's 8A. That was 8A. 8B, in the range E14 to F18, enter formulas to calculate the net change and the percent change. So just like we did above. As a matter of fact, if we're really lazy, and I'm going to show you this, we can copy these two formulas. So I'm going to highlight these two cells, and I'm going to choose copy, which is found right there, or you can do Control-C if you want. But I'm going to choose copy. Then I'm going to come down here and click right there in cell E14, and I'm going to do paste. And look at that. It copied the formulas down so that if I look at this one, it says C14 minus D14. It's exactly what we wanted. And the percent change tells me E14 divided by D14. So we cheated a little bit. Don't tell anybody. And now I'm going to copy these down by selecting both cells, using the fill handle, and copy down to row 18 there. Oops, I missed a row. Okay, there we go. So we've actually did step 8C. Shh, don't tell anybody. 8C says use the format painter to copy the formatting from the range B5 to F10 to the range B13 to F18. We've already done that. So we did step C. 8D, format the ranges C14 to E14. So C14 to E14, right there. Let me read this again, make sure. C14 to E14 and C18 to E18 with accounting format and no decimal places. Okay, this $sign is the accounting. So if I click on that, it puts a $sign. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to have us expand these columns. I'm going to wait a little bit, but I will show you how to take care of that. These pound signs that you're seeing in my spreadsheet right now, and you may be seeing in yours, is not an error message. It simply means the column is not wide enough to display the number that's in there. So we'll take care of that in a second here. As a matter of fact, when it tells me to remove the decimal places, I bet it works. So let's continue reading here. With accounting format, we just did that with no decimal places. So we're going to come back up here like we did earlier and do decreased decimal places. 1, 2, and there we go. So I knew they would fix it for us eventually. All right, and they want me to do the same thing for C18. So I'm going to highlight C18 to E18. We're going to go back up to the accounting. Right there it is, the $sign. And we're going to remove our 2 decimal places. Perfect. So that's 8D. Turning the page now. We got one more full page to go here. We're on step number 9 on page EX124. Make the following changes to the units sold per month table, which is in A21 to O46. So I need to scroll down. It's in this table right here. Step A, 9A. In the range O22 to O45, so I'm going to select, let me see that again. In the range O22, so scroll over so I can see column O. It says total there. O22 to O45, use the sum function to calculate the total units sold for each menu item. So I'm going to go from O22 to O45. I'm going to select all of these cells, O22 all the way down to O45, and I'm going to use my auto sum key. And it tells me it's adding from C22 to N22. Okay? And if I scroll over, C22, N is my last month here. C22 is my first month of data. So that's perfectly okay. All right, so that was great. We did that okay using the auto sum key. Then it says in the range C46 to O46. So I'll scroll down until I see row 46. There we go. We're going to highlight those as well, because we're going to do basically the same thing we just did. Okay. And we're going to use the auto sum key again. And that will give me the totals. Now again, I just want to confirm, because if I look here, it's using rows 22 through 45. 45 is okay. All the way up to 22 is fine. That's our first row of data. So that worked out great. So that was 9A. 9B, format the headings in the range A21 to O21. A21, I need to scroll back over to get A. A21 to, let me make sure I read this, to O21. So all of these here to O21. Format the headings in the range A21 to O21 with the accent 3 cell style. So remember, cell styles are found right here on the home ribbon, and they want accent 3. So I'm going to click accent 3. Center the headings in the range C21 to O21. So we click the center button on our alignment tab right there, or alignment group. 9C. Format the units sold values in the range C22 to O46. C22, I'm highlighting the entire range to O26. Let me read that again. To O46. Okay, just making sure. Okay, with the comma style and no decimal places. So we go back up here, we click the comma. The default is 2 decimal places, so we have to remove those by clicking the decrease decimal twice. All right, 9D. Change the fill color of the subtotals in the range O22 to O45 and C46 to N46 to the white background 1 darker 15% theme color, the first color in the 3rd row. Okay, so first what I've got to do is I've got to select O22 to O45. O22 to O45. Okay, I'll select all of those, and I'm going to choose, let me read it again, change the fill color. That's the bucket that looks like it's being spilled over. So I'm going to drop that down, and it says to the white background 1 darker 15% theme color, which is the first color in the 3rd row. Row 1, row 2, row 3. If I put my pointer on it, Sure enough, that's exactly what it says. So I'm going to click that, and we've got those formatted. That's one row, or one cell range. Now we have another one to do, and that is C46. So I scroll down here, and then scroll over, C46 to N46. Okay. Let me see, change this, yep, C46 to N46, and then we're going to use the same fill color. So I don't know if you know this, but it does remember the last one you just did. So instead of having to drop down and find it again, I can just click on this, and it remembers exactly what I used prior for the other range. 9E. Merge each of the menu categories in the range A22 to A31. So let me do that first. Let me scroll up here. A22 down to 31, the specialty. It says merge each of the menu categories in the range A22 to A31, and then they give me 3 other ranges that we'll do in a minute here, into single cells. Rotate the text of the cells up and middle align the cell contents. What that means is if I choose the drop down here and I say merge cells, that merges all of those into a single cell. Then it says rotate the text of the cells up. So right here I've got different diagonal ways that I can do orientation, and these said that they want the text to be cells up. So I'm going to say rotate text up like that. And then it says to middle align the cell contents. So right up here at the very top of my different alignments that I have middle align right there. I click, and there we go. Now they want the same thing, but for range A32 to A36. So watch this. I'm going to select the range A22 to A31. I'm going to use my format paintbrush. I'm going to scroll down until I see the total range right here, A32 to A36. I'm going to highlight those cells, and it does the same type of formatting. I click the paintbrush again. This time I'm going to do A37 down to A41. And then finally I'm going to do the soups as well, which is the range A42 down to A45. So I click the paintbrush. I select A42 down to A45. Okay, that is step 9E. 9F. Format cell A22. So let's find A22. A22, which is off the specialty, with the accent 1 cell style. So let's go over to cell styles and pick accent 1. There we go. Then it says format cell A32. So click on A32, and we're going to use the cell style of accent 2 for this one. Different colors for each one of these groups here. Then I'm going to click on A37, and they want accent 3. Moving across from left to right here. And for A42, we're going to do accent 4. Okay. And then it says change the font size of these 4 merged cells to 14 points. So I'm going to change this one to 14. Then I'm going to click on sandwiches and change that one to 14. Smoothies to 14. And finally, the one up here called specialty, change that one to 14. All right. That is step 9F. 9G. Add thick outside borders around each category of menu items. A22 to O31. So I'm going to click on A22 and highlight down to O31. Okay, like that. And we're going to use thick outside borders. So I drop this arrow down, and I find thick outside borders. There's one. Scroll down. The next range that they want me to do this to is A32 to O36. So A32 to O36. Again, all I have to do is click on this because it remembers the last border that I used. Then I'm going to do the range A37 to O41. Okay, thick outside borders. And then finally the last range that we're going to do is A42 to O45. And thick outside borders. All right, you guys are doing a great job, I'm sure. This is step 9. Now we're on step 10. Use conditional formatting to highlight negative values in the range E6 to F10 and E14 to F18 with a light red fill with dark red text to highlight which menu categories showed a decrease in units sold or gross sales from 2016 to 2017. So let's do E6 to F10 first. So I'm going to highlight E6. Let me scroll back up here. E6 to, what did it say? Let me read that again. E6 to F10. Okay. And we're going to do a conditional formatting rule. So we're going to click on that and go highlight cell rules. And I'm going to say less than 0 because that will show negative numbers. They want it to be with light red fill with dark red text. So that's what the default is. So I click OK, and I see only the ones that are in negative. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the range E14 to F18. E14 to F18, right here. Same idea. Conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, less than 0, and we keep the light red with dark. And we just did step number 10. 11. Use conditional formatting to format cells that rank in the top 10% in the range C22 to N45. Okay, so let's do that. C22, so let's scroll down. C22 all the way over to N45. So let's get this highlighted first. N45. Okay, we're going to go up to conditional formatting, and we're going to go to top and bottom rules, and I'm going to say top 10%. Okay, now I realize that the instructions say, yes, it does say top 10%, so we got it perfectly. With a bright green fill, so I'm going to drop this arrow down and choose the green fill with dark green text option. All right, and we're going to click OK. And all the ones that are in the top 10 get highlighted with a green fill automatically. That's conditional formatting. Step 12. Create a legend for the conditional formatting you added to the worksheet in cell O20. So let's scroll up to O20. Right there. It says enter the text top sellers. We're just doing data entry there. Top sellers. Add a thick outside border around the cell. So I'll click on that cell, and it still has the top thick outside border, so I click on that. And then use conditional formatting to display this text with a green fill with dark green text. So I can come down here to conditional formatting and say, I guess I could say highlight cell rules equal to, and I can type in there top sellers and tell it to format it with green fill. So I'm going to drop this down and choose green fill and click OK. And it's just telling people that if you see one of these down here in green, it's one of your top sellers. All right, I believe that's quite a bit of all the formatting. Now we're going to get into step 13, which is getting it ready for printing. Even though we won't print it, we're going to get it ready for printing. Set the following print formats for the menu items format. Set the print area to the non-adjacent range of A1 to F19 and A20 to O46. So this is the way I do it. If you follow the book and they do it a different way and you feel more comfortable with the way they're showing you, that's fine. But what I do is I click on Page Layout ribbon, and then I click this little arrow down in the bottom right-hand corner of Page Setup. When I click that little arrow, it takes me here to where I have 4 tabs. And basically, these are all the 4 tabs that I will be using to get it ready for printing. If I go to the last tab, Sheet, this is where I can set my print area. Step 13A says set the print area to be, so I'm going to click here and I'm going to select A1. So I'm going to scroll up in my spreadsheet and I'm going to select A1. I'm going to have to move this out of the way. So I'm going to click on the top and drag that by holding down the left side of my mouse. So they want A1 to F19. And then I'm going to hold down my Control key to select another range. And that one is going to be A20 down to O46. So I select A20 down to O46. Let go, and that's the 2 separate ranges. Now, if you feel more comfortable just typing that in and put a comma between the 2 different ranges, that's fine too. So that was 13A. B, switch to page break. I'm going to click OK here. It says switch to page break preview, and then remove any automatic page breaks in the units sold per month table. So let's do that first. So what I'm going to do is go to View, the menu View, and Page Break Preview. Click there, and it does show some page breaks already, these dark blue lines. If you put your pointer right on that dark blue line, I get 2 arrows going left and right. If I right-click, well, it's not letting me. Huh. Let me see what I can do here. I guess what I can do here is click and just drag it out, and that will remove it. So what I did was I clicked on it with the left side of my mouse and dragged it all the way over to the right, or to the left, and that removed it. What else does it say? Switch to page break preview, and then remove any automatic page breaks in the units sold per month table. All right, that was the one that I just removed down here. It still thinks it sees, maybe it's, I click here and drag that out. Huh. It's being a stickler. Well, I don't know why I can't get rid of this. Tell you what, at this point, so I don't hold you up on this video, I'm going to skip that. If you were to email me, I can explain it to you through email. But for this particular, I'm going to skip that step B. All right, 13C, scale the printout to 70%. So I'm going to go back to page layout, and I'm going to click on that little arrow again. And this time I'm going to go to page, and they want me to scale it to 70%. So I'm going to use the drop-down arrow until I can get to 70%. Step D, create print titles to repeat the first 3 rows at the top of the sheet and the first 2 columns at the left of the sheet. That's again done on the Sheet tab. So back to Sheet tab we go. And this says rows to repeat at top. So I click there, and they want me to repeat the first 3 rows. So, okay, let me read this again. Top 3 rows at the top of the sheet. So I'm going to scroll all the way up in the top of my worksheet. Okay. And I'm going to highlight 1, 2, 3. And that puts the code in there that it needs to know to repeat those 3 rows on every single printed page. And then it's telling me to do the first two columns at the left of the sheet. So I click on columns to repeat, and I select A and B by getting the little black arrow over A, holding down the left side of my mouse and dragging over to B. And that tells it to print A's and B's on both columns, or all the printouts. Okay, I think I'm getting tired here. So, okay, 13E. Increase the left margin of the printout from 0.07 to 1. So now if I go to margins, the left is currently 0.7. They want me to increase that to 1 inch. So I'm going to use the up arrow. And maybe I need to type a 1 instead. So I typed a 1. Okay. Create headers and footers for the printout with a different first page. Now, I want to explain this, but I'm not going to actually, well, I can go ahead and do it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to headers and footers. And it says create headers and footers for the printout with a different first page. For the first page header, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a check mark in different first page. That's a must. Different first page. So then I'm going to go to custom header, and I now have two tabs up there that you will not see if you don't check that box. I have header and first page header. It says for the first page header, so I'm going to click on that one. It says print prepared by your name in the right section. So I'm going to click over here in the right section, and I'm going to type in prepared by, and I'm going to put Steve Whiteman. Now, I did have someone in my past that actually was cheating in my course and submitted a file that said prepared by somebody differently than them here. That is a no-no, of course, so be very careful here. For every other page, so now we're going to go back to header up here. We're going to say for every other page, print file name followed by the file name in the left section. So I'm going to click here and type file name. Okay, that's all one word. Colon. Now, you should always, let me capitalize that, always use the buttons up here that they provide. Don't type in things that you don't have to type. For example, they've got the time, they've got the date, they've got the page numbers up here. You've got to use those. So if they want me to use the file name, I've got a button over here that if you leave your pointer on it, it should, but it's not, going to come up with file names. So this is the one that looks like an Excel spreadsheet. It's got the letter X here, I believe. You click there and it says and file. There, it finally came up with my tooltip that says insert file name. So I want to click that because by using that code, if I were to change the file name, it will automatically change it here. Okay? In the file in the left section and the date in the right section. So I go over to the right section, and again, you want to make sure you use the buttons here. So this one says insert date, so I've got and date there. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to go to custom footer, and it's stating here for every footer. So I'm going to make sure I stay there and not just on the first page footer, but right on the footer tab. And it says include the first page. Print, let's see, for every footer, including the first page, print page, followed by the page number, and then of, followed by the total number of pages in the center section. So what they want me to do is type the word page, space. This will be just the page number, so that will give you 1 for page 1, 2 for page 2, 3. So we want to click that to get the page, space, of, space, pages. So if I'm going to print a number of pages, 5 pages, it will be 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5 by using those buttons up there. Okay, click OK. Step I, 13I, preview the printout to verify that the company name and the description appear on every page, blah, blah, blah. Save and close the workbook. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click Save. And then I'm going to close it. Okay, so before I let you go, I do want to explain that since I screwed up the page break preview and how to delete page breaks, please email me if you need a description of how to do that, and I would be more than glad to email you back with the steps. I apologize for that problem, but this version doesn't do it the same as I've learned in other versions. So I need to look at that, to be honest with you, and then I will get back to you as quickly as I hear it from an email from you. Okay, great. Have a good day, and I appreciate you being your patience and listening to me. Thank you.